Shit, that is. Self-awareness is a superpower. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. This video is about Mercury and Capricorn. Mercury is the fastest moving planet and closest one to our sun. You can think of our sun as the king, and Mercury is the king's messenger. So with that being said, you can imagine how important it is for the king to have a voice, and the king's messenger is the king's voice. So the king could be considered as our identity, who we identify as. Wherever your sun is in your natal chart, that's who you identify as. And wherever Mercury is in your natal chart, that's the kind of information that you consume, and that's what you do with information based on wherever Mercury is. With Mercury being in Capricorn, basically the kind of information that you consume is information that can add value to your life. Information that can move you up the ladder and help you to gain more success and financial stability. Information that can better your future and the future of the ones that you love. Because Capricorn is an energy that is ambitious. Capricorn is an energy that is ruled by the earth element, so it is a very practical energy. So with Mercury being here, I can see this as a very shrewd businessman. I can see this as someone or businesswoman who is very practical in whatever it is that they're doing and can use the Mercurian energy to analyze a situation, break it down, and come up with ways to add more financial stability to themselves, more security, and information that's going to put them in a position where they are out in the world and seen as experts in their field. Because with Mercury and Capricorn, think of the 10th house, which is the house that Capricorn rules. The 10th house is at the highest part of the zodiac wheel. So that means people who are strongly associated with the Capricorn energy feels a sense of responsibility to be out in the open and at the top of their game. Feels a sense of responsibility to be seen as successful. So with Mercury being here, Mercury is going to consume information that is going to consume the kind of information that is going to help these people to reach to that point in their life, to achieve those goals, to get the success and to get the peace within themselves. Because Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn. And because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, my heart goes out to Capricorn, because I have Saturn conjuncting my sun and my Mercury, so trust me, I feel the pain. Having Saturn as your ruler, or ruling Capricorn where Mercury is, Saturn is that parent that doesn't give a bleep about your feelings. Saturn only cares about the results. Saturn doesn't care if you're tired. Saturn doesn't care if you're sad. Saturn doesn't care if no one will like you. Saturn only cares about results. Let me see the numbers. Let me see the facts. Numbers don't lie. That's Saturn's attitude. So with that being said, Capricorns can come off a bit shrewd. Capricorns can speak in a way that may seem extremely cold and just distant, because with Mercury being in Capricorn, that means their mind is in a place of dealing with the numbers, dealing with the facts. I also find that people with Mercury in Capricorn, they don't trust easily. Most of them assume that you're lying until they themselves can prove that you are telling the truth. So because of that, it's like you can be talking to someone with Mercury in Capricorn, and one or two things will happen if they don't believe what you're saying is true, because maybe it looks too good to be true. And like, say for example, a Mercury and Capricorn person might feel like success can only be attained through going to college and becoming a nurse. And then they come across someone who didn't go to college and they're just doing a trade, maybe as a tarot card reader, and they're making bank. But this Capricorn, Mercury Capricorn person don't know this person personally. They heard about the person through friends, and now they're sitting and talking to the person. They'll be listening, but at the same time, they don't believe ish unless they can prove it for themselves. Because, you know, with Saturn being so traditional and whatnot, when I say traditional, yeah, Saturn being traditional, having to do with time. And when I say traditional, I think of religion and the way things were supposed to be in certain foundations that we have set up. And for a while, one of them was you have to go to college in order to be successful. So with that mindset, yeah, if you didn't achieve your success that way, it's like at first they don't believe it until they see it. And you'll tell, because when they're speaking to you, it's either one or two things will happen. It's either they will have a smirk on their face, like, oh, this bitch full of shit, or they just won't be interested. They'll shut you out, you know, because yeah, this energy is that way. With Capricorn and Mercury, I feel like earlier in life, you guys may not have been confident in communicating, or may have experienced challenges when it comes to speaking or just learning, because even though Saturn is not here itself, just having Capricorn here, Saturn's energy is also present. Saturn will is also here. And wherever Saturn is in your chart, or wherever Capricorn is in your chart, that part is like wine. It gets better with age. In the beginning, it might be challenging, but over time, it gets better because it's something that you are constantly working at. And you have no choice but to constantly work at this thing because Saturn won't let you. So I find, like, say in the beginning, you probably spoke in a way that offended people. And then over time, you learn not to speak so harshly. Over time, you learn to communicate in a way that would get your point across to others, but at the same time, it wouldn't ruffle as much feathers. You know, that's the way how Saturn could work here. Or you might find early in life, it was like learning was challenging, like you didn't get straight A's, or you probably barely could have got a C, like a D was good enough. As long as you pass, that's all that matters. In the beginning, it probably was that way with Mercury and Capricorn. But then as time went by, you owned that. The thing that was most challenging to you becomes basically your biggest strength. And over time, you realize that, wow, you're very organized when it comes to certain things. You're extremely organized. You are very authoritative because of this energy. And you lead in that one thing that challenged you. So yeah, having Mercury in Capricorn, these people are normally good in charge. These people are normally good organizing things, and these people tend to be very authoritative. And at the same time, when it comes to their speech, like, it depends, because where your sun is also plays a major point. So say your sun is in Capricorn and Mercury's in Capricorn, that's great, because who you identify as and the way you communicate is in alignment. And this is a good thing because that means your mind works very quickly and you're in sync. The messenger is with the king. The king can express itself freely. But say, for example, your Mercury is in Capricorn and your sun is in, say, Aquarius or Sagittarius. It's like who you identify as and how you communicate, that kind of information that you consume won't be on the same page. So what'll happen is a lot of filtering will happen when it comes to your communication. And that could be a good thing because it'll allow you time to think about things before you say it. But that could be a challenging thing because sometimes you'll filter things through so much to where it never comes out. You never get to say what you mean. You never get to really express yourself because you filtered it so much to where there's nothing left. Because how you feel, who you are, who you identify as, and the information you consume and the way you communicate isn't in alignment. And I feel like because of that, with Mercury and Capricorn, if your sun and your Mercury isn't in the same sign, it could be, I mean, if it's in Aquarius, your sun in Aquarius, Mercury in Capricorn, I don't feel like that's so bad because Aquarius is also ruled by Saturn. So a lot of the Saturn influence is there. But if it's in Sagittarius, it's like you might identify as someone who is like, you know, you might identify one way, but then the information that you're consuming is totally different. So it's like that could create like, you know, somewhat of an identity crisis type of situation because the way you see yourself and then what you're focusing on is just, it's not the same. So that's a fight within yourself. And then also too, some people might misunderstand you or your intentions because what they're getting from how you're coming off or how you're presenting yourself based on who you identify as. And then the words that you're speaking is not in alignment. So it might come off as if you're someone who can't be trusted when that's not the case. But I feel like regardless of what the placement is, it's all about an experience. If your sun and your Mercury is in two different places, then you have the ability to see things from different angles based off your perspective because you've experienced both things. So either way is a learning experience and it's all about how you choose to see it. But yes, Mercury here in Capricorn is all about their business. These people like to mind their own business. And when I say mind their own business, they like to focus on growing their business, growing their stability, growing their place in the world. There's a sense of responsibility to be someone. And if you're watching and saying, well, I can't relate to that, maybe you have other placements, maybe a strong Pisces, something. You have other placements that don't identify with that, and that's fine too. But that's my video for Mercury and Capricorn. If you are still here with me, please give me a star emoji in the comment box below and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.